on up.
Everybody right there.
Get into it.
Everybody right there.
Get involved.
Everybody just come on now. Come on now. Come on, come on. Come on with your come on. Come on, come on.
Hello, this is Colleen with The Public Good. I am here with Siobhan and Deanna from the YWCA. Hello.
Hey.
Awesome. So we are all working together, PPG and the YWCA, to bring some financial literacy and empowerment resources specifically to women. Mm-hmm. So why is that? Why are we bringing it specifically to women?
Well, 3 out of 10 women are victims of domestic violence. 98% of those 3 women are victims of financial abuse. The opposite of oppression is empowerment. The only way you can truly be empowered is through education. There is no other way. So we did a survey with our clients about 2 months ago, and I just asked simple questions like, do you know what your credit score is? Do you have a bank account? How do you normally cash your checks? How do you normally budget your money throughout the month? These are questions that my clients could not even answer. So now if this said client comes into a relationship with a man that's looking to financially abuse her, because of her lack of education, she's more susceptible to fall victim to that versus someone that is educated and empowered enough to say, hey, I know that my credit score is this, this, and this, so you can't tell me that, you know, that it's going this way or that we weren't approved when we really were, or financial abusers will open up accounts that the victims are not aware of because they may not have even been aware of their credit score. They may not have even known that they could have applied independently and got that card. So this abuser takes that and takes full advantage of that lack of education. So this partnership is so valuable to me because it's giving my clients a chance to have a voice. It's giving my clients a chance to be able to say, wait, stop, and no. And if you don't have education, you don't have a foundation to be able to say that. And we want abusers in Buffalo, New York to feel uncomfortable. They should be uncomfortable abusing women. They should feel like they could lose it all. If I abuse this woman in this area called Buffalo, New York, I will be cast aside of society. I will not be allowed in. We have to get to that level of awareness where abusers feel frightened to even victimize a woman and take all of her power. And if we hear a stat that says 3 out of every 10 women, and we say, oh, that's a shame, and we don't do anything about that, those 3 out of 10 women will be your daughters, they will be your best friends, they will be your sisters, they will be CEOs, they will be women that we interact with every day. So my personal opinion and the opinion of the YWCA of Western New York is we're not going to stand for it. And any woman that needs help or access to resources, while we may not be able to give you a house, certainly we only have 14 properties, we will connect you with someone that will help. We will connect you with someone that will give you a voice, which is why I'm just thrilled about this partnership. It's going to do some major things. It's going to bring attention to an issue in Buffalo, New York that people are neglecting. So for me, I'm just thrilled about that. And I'm going to turn it to Siobhan so she can really bring the emotional connection to stats that we most often just overlook. It's important to see that it really happens. Siobhan is real. She's a survivor, not a victim. But when she was a victim, this is what it looked like. So I'm going to turn it over to her.
Thank you, Deanna. So financial abuse is one of those things that no one really thinks about. I think it's one of those logical steps. Like, it makes sense that an abuser who has no problem striking his partner would have no issue taking all of her money as well. But it's not something that most people think about when it comes to the freedom aspect and the getting out. You know, and there's really no way for a woman in that position, especially one who has children, to be able to escape abuse when you have no access to your own bank account, when you have no access to your own paycheck. And the unfortunate part is there are policies in effect that protect abusers, a lot of them. And until we can get to that point, the least we can do is to help those 3 in 10 women. Because she's absolutely right. These are women that you see every single day. These are women you work with, you walk past on the street, people that you know, you're going through whatever it is in your head, and they're just happy to be outside of their house.
Right.
You know, it's not uncommon for us to get a call at YWCA of someone who gets timed on how long it takes for her to go to her house to the store and back.
Wow.
And she has that many minutes to make a phone call and reach out. You know, in those 3 in 10, yes, all of them are victims of abuse, but many of them, unlike myself, might not find a way out. You know, and the only reason that I had as much success as I did is because I had resources that are so readily available in Western New York, but I had no idea they existed. And if it wasn't for individual staff members at YWCA Western New York, I don't think I would have had access to it. Because back in Florida, where I'm from, there was nothing. You know, my husband was able to not only isolate me from my friends and family, people that really cared, people that probably would have seen signs if they were allowed in my house. You know, not only was he able to take control of my money, I actually had 2 separate housing funds because my dream has always been to own my own home. You know, and as Deanna speaks so eloquently about how important that home is to a family, he actually was able to drain not 1 but 2 housing funds, totaling in almost $12,000 without me even knowing. I just kept putting money essentially into his pocket. You know, and that's the kind of financial abuse we're talking about. I'm talking about when for months I was given $25 to feed a family of 4. You know, and other than learning that I have a very good green thumb, and learning how to make, a slice of bread last a week, there aren't many good memories that I have from that. The beauty is that I was able to go through that process without getting broken, and I was able to go through all of that, and I am a survivor of that today. Unfortunately, there are many women that don't come from that cloth, and they need more support, and they need someone like myself, like Deanna, like all of the Y women warriors that we have over at YWCA that are more than happy to stand there and fight and make it uncomfortable for abusers in Western New York. Because that's right. Absolutely. You know, if you had to understand what it's like to lock yourself in a bathroom just because you hope to God he drinks enough that he passes out, I want him to feel that way. He should. You know, there should be no policies protecting abusers, and unfortunately that's a ways down the road. But what we can do is do everything in our power to help those 3 in 10, to look out for signs of abuse, to not stigmatize those that actually get out, to understand that it takes a woman 7, is that the statistic? 7 tries.
That's right.
7 tries to get out. I think mine was 8. That's the average, you know, and to be supportive and make sure that the resources that are so readily available that she's connected to them, and make sure that organizations like us, that organizations that do so much amazing advocacy and connect all these wonderful organizations like PPG, that they are resourced the way that they should, that they're advocated the way that they should, and that they are brought into the light, because that is what needs to happen. All of this thrives in the darkness. All of this thrives in the silence. And at YWCA, Western New York, all I can say is that we are dedicated to eliminating that silence, to destroying that stigma, and to making sure that no woman has to lock herself in a bathroom again.
Wow, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you both for your work.
Thank
I'm
you.
so proud to be a part of this collaboration, and I really look forward to working more. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Same here.
Everybody over there, get on up. Everybody right there, get into it.